My name is Edward and I'm 36 years old, standing at the edge of a life I thought was mine. The Boston skyline glimmers outside my apartment window, a mosaic of lights that once felt like hope but now mock me with their cold brilliance. I've always been a man who builds relationships, dreams, a future, but tonight I feel the ground crumbling beneath me. My wife, Laura, and my best friend, Marcus, were my anchors, the people I trusted with my heart. But trust is a fragile thing and I'm about to learn how easily it shatters. This is the story of how I lost everything I loved, how I clawed my way back, and how I turned betrayal into something stronger. It starts with a lie, a crack in the foundation I didn't see until it was too late. I grew up in a small Massachusetts town, the son of a carpenter and a schoolteacher. We didn't have much, but we had each other. Dinners around a rickety table, laughter that filled the gaps money couldn't. I was the kid who fixed things. Broken toys, neighbors' fences, my parents' arguments. That instinct carried me to Boston, where I studied engineering and landed a job designing sustainable buildings. It wasn't glamorous, but it was meaningful, creating spaces that lasted, that mattered. I met Laura at a coffee shop near MIT, her blonde hair catching the sunlight, her laugh like a melody I couldn't forget. She was a graphic designer, all fire and creativity, with hazel eyes that saw the world in colors I couldn't name. "You're too serious, Ed," she'd tease, pulling me onto dance floors or into late-night art galleries. I fell hard, and when we married 5 years ago, I thought I'd found my forever. Marcus was part of the package, my best friend since high school. He was the opposite of me, charismatic, a risk-taker, always chasing the next big deal as a real estate agent. Where I was steady, he was a spark, the guy who'd drag me to karaoke or talk me into weekend road trips. We'd been through everything together. My parents' divorce, his failed engagement, countless nights sharing beers and dreams. Marcus was the brother I never had, the one who'd show up with pizza when Laura and I fought, who'd joke, "You two are stuck with me." Laura loved him too, called him the family clown, and our trio felt unbreakable. We hosted barbecues in our South End apartment, planned vacations, built a life woven so tightly I never imagined it could unravel. Our marriage wasn't perfect. Laura's freelance work was erratic and my long hours at the firm strained us. We fought sometimes, about money, about time, about the kids we hadn't had yet. But we always came back to each other, her head on my chest, my promises whispered in the dark. Marcus was our glue, diffusing tension with a quip or a bottle of wine. I trusted them both, blindly, the way you trust the ground won't open beneath you. I was the fixer, the one who kept the machine running, and I thought that was enough. The first crack appeared a month ago, subtle but sharp. Laura started staying out late, blaming client meetings. Her phone was always face down, her texts guarded. "Just work it," she'd say, her smile tight. Marcus was scarce too, his usual texts, memes, bar invites, drying up. I chalked it up to life, to their busy schedules, but a knot grew in my gut. Last week, I found a receipt in Laura's purse for a dinner at a rooftop restaurant, a place we'd never been together. 2 entrees, 2 cocktails, dated a night she'd said she was with clients. My heart thudded, but I didn't confront her. I wanted to be wrong. Then came the moment that broke me. 3 days ago, I came home early, a rare half-day from the firm. The apartment was quiet, Laura's shoes by the door, her jacket slung over the couch. I heard voices from the bedroom, hers soft and laughing and another deeper. My stomach dropped. I pushed the door open and there they were, Laura in my old college t-shirt sitting on the bed, Marcus beside her, his hand on her knee. They froze, their faces a mirror of guilt. "Ed," Laura stammered, her voice cracking. "It's not." Marcus stood, hands raised. "Buddy, let me explain." But I was already gone, the room spinning, my world collapsing. I stumbled out, the Boston streets a blur, my breath ragged. My wife and my best friend, 15 years of friendship, 5 years of marriage, reduced to a lie. I ended up on a bench by the Charles River, the water black and endless, mirroring the void in my chest. Memories flooded me, Laura's vows, Marcus's toasts, our shared laughter. Had it all been a performance? How long had they been sneaking around, whispering behind my back? The betrayal wasn't just the affair, it was the mockery of my trust, the theft of my belief in them. I wanted to scream, to confront them, to burn our life to the ground. But as the city hummed around me, a colder thought took root. I wouldn't let them see me break. They'd taken enough. I'd take it back, not with fists or tears, but with something sharper. Now, sitting in a cheap motel room, I couldn't face the apartment. I stare at my reflection in a cracked mirror. My eyes are bloodshot, my jaw tight, but there's a fire beneath the pain. I'm Edward, the man who fixes things, and I'll fix this. Not for Laura, not for Marcus, but for me. They think they know me, steady, predictable Ed. They're wrong. I'm not just hurt, I'm awake. And I'm already planning the steps to make them face what they've done, to show the world who they are. As the city's lights flicker outside, I swear to myself, I'll rise from this, and when I do, they'll wish they'd never underestimated me. The motel room smells of stale coffee and regret, the kind of place where dreams go to die. I'm sprawled on a lumpy mattress, staring at the popcorn ceiling, my phone dark beside me. It's been 2 days since I walked in on Laura and Marcus, my wife and my best friend, their guilt branded into my memory like a scar. Boston hums outside, indifferent to the wreckage of my life. I'm Edward, 36, a man unmoored, my heart a battlefield of heartbreak and rage. Their betrayal is a wound I can't stop probing, but beneath the pain, something colder is stirring. A plan, a way to make them pay. I'm not ready to act, not yet, but the fire in my chest is shifting from chaos to purpose. The first day was a blur of anguish. I didn't go back to the apartment, couldn't face the bed where they'd sat, laughing, touching as if I were nothing. I wandered the city, the Charles River's chill seeping into my bones. My mind replayed the scene. Laura's half-dressed panic, Marcus's pathetic, "Buddy, let me explain." I wanted to scream, to smash something, to demand how they could do this. 15 years with Marcus. High school pranks, late-night confessions, his arm around me at my dad's funeral. 5 years with Laura. Her vows under an oak tree, her fingers tracing my jaw in the dark. Had it all been a lie? My internal voice is merciless. How could you be so blind, Ed? They played you and you let them. Flashbacks hit like punches. I see Marcus at our wedding toasting, "To Ed, the luckiest bastard I know." His grin was so wide, so genuine, or was it? I see Laura, curled on our couch, sketching, her laughter filling the room as I burned dinner. Was she already sneaking off with him, their whispers a knife in my back? I remember a night last year, the three of us at a bar, Laura's hand lingering on Marcus's arm, his eyes holding hers too long. I'd brushed it off, chalked it up to their easy friendship. Idiot, I cursed myself. You built your life on sand and now it's gone. The pain is physical, a vice around my chest, squeezing until I can't breathe. I want to call her, to beg her to say it's a mistake, but my pride, or what's left of it, stops me. I check into this motel, a gray box off the highway, because I can't afford to keep running on fumes. My savings are decent, but Laura controls our joint accounts, and I'm not ready to face her or the paperwork of our unraveling life. Work is a distant hum. I called in sick, my bosses, "Take care, Ed," a faint echo. My colleagues don't know, but the shame burns anyway. What am I now? Not a husband, not a friend, just a fool who trusted too much. I avoid mirrors, afraid of the man I'll see, hollow-eyed, broken, the fixer who couldn't fix his own heart. Yet, in the wreckage, anger takes root, raw and jagged. I replay their faces, Laura's stammer, Marcus's raised hands, and I want them to hurt like I do. My first instinct is primal: storm the apartment, throw their lies in their faces, watch them squirm. I imagine Marcus's smug jaw dropping, Laura's tears, but it's not enough. A shouting match won't undo the betrayal. It'll only show them how deeply they've cut me. No, I tell myself, my fists clenching the motel's thin sheets. They don't get to see me bleed. I need something bigger, something that strips away their masks, exposes them to the world they've charmed. I'm not a vengeful man, or I wasn't, but this isn't just about me. It's about justice, about reclaiming the dignity they stole. The shift comes on the second night as I sit at the motel's wobbly desk, a notepad in front of me. I start writing, not a plan yet, just fragments of pain. How long? Who else knew? What do they gain? Laura's career is shaky. Marcus's real estate deals are flashy but unstable. They're not masterminds, just selfish, reckless. I think about our friends, our social circle, the barbecues where they played the perfect couple's best friend. Did others suspect? Did they laugh behind my back? The thought ignites a new resolve. I won't just confront them. I'll make sure everyone sees who they really are. I dig through my phone, avoiding their messages. Laura's, "We need to talk." Marcus's, "I'm so sorry, man." Instead, I find a photo from last summer. The three of us on a Cape Cod beach, Laura's head on my shoulder, Marcus's arm around us both. My throat tightens, but I don't cry. I zoom in, study their smiles, and see it now, the secret in their eyes, the lie I missed. You thought you could bury me, I think, my jaw tight. But I'm still here. I start listing what I know. Laura's late nights, Marcus's unexplained cash, the dinner receipt. Small clues, but they're threads, and I'm good at untangling knots. I'm an engineer, a problem solver. This is just another problem, one I'll solve with precision. By dawn, my heartbreak is still there, a dull ache, but it's tempered by clarity. I won't let rage drive me, I'll channel it. I need evidence, texts, emails, proof of their affair and whatever else they're hiding. I need allies, people who see through their charm. I think of Sarah, Laura's old co-worker, who always seemed wary of Marcus. I think of my firm's IT guy who owes me a favor and could trace digital footprints. Most of all, I need to rebuild myself, to be the man who walks out of this stronger, not broken. I'm not ready to forgive, not even close, but I'm done being their victim. As the motel's neon sign buzzes outside, I make a vow. I'll play their game, but I'll play it better. They'll regret underestimating Edward, the man who fixes things, because I'm about to fix this, and when I do, they'll have nowhere to hide. The Boston air is sharp with autumn's edge as I walk the streets of the South End, my breath visible in the dawn light. It's been a week since I saw Laura and Marcus in our bedroom, their betrayal a wound that pulses with every heartbeat. I'm Edward, 36, and I'm no longer the man who stumbled out of that apartment, broken and blind. The motel's behind me. I've rented a studio in Dorchester, a bare space that smells of fresh paint and possibility. My heart still aches, but it's fuel now, driving a plan to expose Laura and Marcus, not with screams but with precision. I'm playing a long game, rebuilding myself in silence while they think they've won. They're wrong, I tell myself, my reflection in a shop window showing a man with fire in his eyes. This is my chessboard and I'm learning to move the pieces. The first days were chaos inside my skull. Rage wanted me to confront them, to tear their lies apart, but I saw the trap. An emotional outburst would make me the villain, the jealous husband they could pity. No, I decided, hunched over my notepad in the motel. I'll make them unravel themselves. I needed proof, a trail of their deceit, and a stage to show the world who they are. My engineering mind kicked in, analyzed, design, execute. I started small, reaching out to Sarah, Laura's former co-worker, who'd always seemed uneasy around Marcus. Over coffee, her eyes narrowed when I mentioned the affair. I'm not surprised, she said, stirring her latte. Marcus was too cozy with her at work events. I saw texts once on Laura's phone, flirty, late-night stuff. My stomach twisted, but I kept my face neutral. Did you save anything? I asked. She hadn't, but she gave me a name. Tim, the firm's IT guy who'd backed up Laura's old work emails. Tim was a risk, but he owed me for covering his missed deadline last year. We met in a dive bar, his nervous energy palpable. I can't access her personal stuff, he said, glancing around, but her work account's still on the server. I slid him $100 and a promise of discretion. By midnight, he emailed me a zip file. Dozens of messages between Laura and Marcus, sent during work hours, coded but careless. Missed you last night, Marcus wrote. Same spot tomorrow? Laura's reply, only if you behave. My hands shook, but this was gold, proof they'd been sneaking around for months, maybe years. Keep it together, Ed, I told myself. This is just the start. The real challenge was facing them. Laura had been calling, her voicemails a mix of tears and excuses. Ed, we need to talk. It was a mistake. Marcus texted, I messed up, man. Let's fix this. Their words were bait, meant to pull me into a fight they could control. I couldn't ignore them forever. Our friends were asking questions and my silence looked like guilt. So I crafted a mask, the wounded but forgiving husband. I met Laura at a neutral cafe, my heart pounding but my face calm. She looked exhausted, her hazel eyes dull, her blonde hair limp. I'm so sorry, Ed, she said, reaching for my hand. I let her touch me, though it burned. It was one time, a stupid mistake. I love you. Lies, every word, but I nodded, my voice soft. I need time, Laura, but I want to try. Her relief was palpable, a crack in her armor. You think you're safe, I thought. Keep thinking that. Marcus was harder. We met at a park, his usual swagger gone, his eyes bloodshot. Ed, you're my brother, he said, his voice breaking. I was drunk, it didn't mean anything. I wanted to punch him, to wipe the fake remorse off his face, but I clasped his shoulder instead. We'll get through this, I said, my tone steady. Just give me space. He nodded, grateful, oblivious to the trap I was setting. By playing the forgiving friend, I kept them close, their guards down, while I gathered ammunition. Rebuilding myself was the harder fight. The betrayal had gutted my identity, husband, friend, fixer. I looked in the mirror and saw a stranger, gray creeping into my beard, doubt in my eyes. Who are you without them, Ed? My mind whispered. I started small, reclaiming pieces of myself. I went back to work, throwing myself into a new project, a solar-powered community center. My boss noticed the change, said, "You're sharper, Ed. Whatever's going on, keep it up." I joined a gym, the burn of weights a counterpoint to the ache in my chest. I even started sketching again, a hobby Laura had mocked as cute. The sketches were rough, cityscapes, bridges, but they were mine, a reminder I could create without her. The strategy took shape in my studio, a war room of notes and timelines. Sarah connected me to a private investigator, a grizzled guy named Ray, who dug into Marcus's finances. "Your buddy's in debt," Ray reported, sliding me a folder. "Shady loans, missed payments. He's been using Laura's credit cards to float." My jaw tightened. Marcus wasn't just a cheat, he was a leech. Ray also found hotel receipts, matching dates from the emails. I cross-referenced them with Laura's client meetings, building a timeline of their affair. The final piece was riskier. I asked Tim to check Marcus's real estate deals. He hesitated but found a lead, a property Marcus flipped under the table, dodging taxes with Laura's name on the paperwork. Sloppy, I thought. You're making this too easy. The subtle wins kept me going. At a friend's dinner party, I played the grieving husband, letting Laura cling to my arm while our friends whispered about her stress. Marcus showed up, his charm strained, and I caught him glancing at her, a flicker of panic when I smiled his way. They're nervous, I realized. They know I could blow this up. I fed their unease, dropping vague hints about needing closure or digging into finances. Laura's text grew frantic. "Are we okay, Ed?" Marcus called late, his voice slurred. "You're not gonna do anything stupid, right?" I reassured them, my voice a velvet blade while my plan sharpened. Inside I'm still raw. Late at night, I see Laura's smile from our wedding, Marcus's laugh from a fishing trip, and I ache for the life I lost. Did I push them away? I wonder. Was I not enough? But I'm learning to silence those doubts. I'm not the problem, they are. I'm rebuilding not just for revenge but for me. The man I'm becoming, focused, deliberate, unbreakable, is a stranger to the old Edward, and I like him. As I sit in my studio, the city's pulse outside, I know the confrontation is coming. Laura and Marcus think they've dodged the storm. They haven't. I'm the storm now, and I'm gathering strength, ready to show them what happens when you betray the man who fixes things. The lights of the Seaport District glitter like a stage set for a reckoning, and I'm ready to pull back the curtain. It's been 3 weeks since I began weaving my plan, and tonight the threads tighten around Laura and Marcus. I'm Edward, 36, no longer the broken man who fled his own home but a strategist, calm and unyielding, my heart armored by truth. Boston's pulse thrums through the crowded rooftop venue, a charity gala for sustainable architecture where I'm a guest speaker. Laura and Marcus are here, oblivious to the trap I've set. They think I'm still the forgiving husband, the wounded friend. They're about to learn how wrong they are. The truth will burn tonight, not with my rage but with their own lies, exposed for all to see. The past weeks have been a tightrope walk. I've played my role perfectly, meek, reconciliatory, letting Laura and Marcus believe they've escaped unscathed. I moved back to our South End apartment, sleeping in the guest room, my smiles calculated. "We're working through it," I told Laura, my voice soft, while she babbled apologies, her guilt a noose she didn't see tightening. Marcus was easier to manipulate, his ego a blind spot. I invited him for beers, listened to his half-hearted remorse, and fed his paranoia with vague hints. "I'm looking into some old bank statements, man. Weird stuff." His eyes flickered, but he laughed it off, unaware I had his financial sins in my pocket. My evidence is a fortress, built with Ray the PI and Tim's digital sleuthing. The emails between Laura and Marcus, flirty, explicit, spanned 2 years, not months. Hotel receipts, synced with Laura's client meetings, mapped their affair across Boston's boutique hotels. Marcus's real estate scam is the real prize, a $200,000 property flip, untaxed, with Laura's name on forged documents to hide his debt. Ray uncovered texts proving Laura knew about the fraud, even funneled her freelance income to cover Marcus's loans. They weren't just cheating, they were partners in crime, using me as a shield. You thought I'd stay blind? I think, my jaw tight as I adjust my tie in the venue's bathroom mirror. Tonight you'll see me. The gala is my stage, carefully chosen. My firm's hosting, and I'm presenting a new eco-friendly project. A community center I designed, my pride reborn. The guest list is a who's who: architects, city officials, our mutual friends, and local press. Laura's here in a green dress that once made my heart skip, chatting with colleagues, her smile a mask. Marcus mingles, his suit sharp, his charm dialed up, but I catch his nervous glances. They think I'm giving a speech about solar panels. They're wrong. I've spent days with Sarah, who's now a journalist, crafting a dossier, emails, receipts, bank records, all verified by Ray's forensic accountant. Sarah's outlet, Boston Globe, has a reporter here, primed for a scoop. I take the stage, the spotlight warm, my voice steady. Thank you for being here, I begin, scanning the crowd. Laura's eyes meet mine, hopeful. Marcus claps, a forced grin. This project is about building trust, I say, gesturing to the screen behind me where my design glows. But trust, once broken, demands accountability. The room quiets, sensing a shift. I nod to the AV tech, and the screen changes, not to blueprints, but to a projection of Marcus's emails, Laura's replies, their affair laid bare. Gasps ripple through the crowd. For 2 years my wife and best friend betrayed me, I say, my tone even, almost gentle. But they didn't stop there. They committed fraud, forging documents, hiding profits. The screen flashes bank transfers, the property deal, Laura's signature. The room erupts, phones out, cameras flashing. Laura's face drains of color, her hand clutching a chair. Marcus bolts toward the exit, but security, tipped off by Sarah, blocks him. This isn't personal, I continue, my eyes locked on them. It's about truth. I built this project to last just like I built my life. They tried to tear it down, but I'm still standing. The crowd's murmurs grow. Friends we shared look horrified, whispering. Sarah's reporter is scribbling, her editor already tweeting. I step down, my heart pounding but my face composed, a man in control. Laura tries to approach, tears streaming, but I walk past, my shoulder brushing hers. You did this, I say, low enough for only her to hear. Marcus is cornered, shouting, it's a setup, but no one's listening. The fallout is immediate. Guests swarm Laura and Marcus, questions flying. Our friend Jenna, who hosted those barbecues, turns her back on Laura, her face disgusted. Marcus's real estate clients, present in the crowd, demand answers about his deals. The Globe reporter corners them, her recorder out. I slip to the balcony, the city's skyline a silent witness, and let the weight of the moment settle. I didn't yell, didn't beg, I let their own actions bury them. Sarah joins me, her eyes bright. You nailed it, Ed. This hits the front page tomorrow. I nod, my throat tight. It's not about winning, I say. It's about being free. But inside, I feel the first crack in my armor, a flicker of pain for the life I lost even as I stand taller. By morning, the stories everywhere: Globe, Boston Herald, social media. Architect exposes wife's affair and fraud at gala. The headlines scream. Laura's freelance clients drop her. Marcus's agency suspends him, his deal's under investigation. Our friends text me, shocked, supportive, some apologizing for not seeing it. I don't respond. I'm done explaining myself. The apartment's mine now. Laura moved out, her stuff gone, leaving only echoes. I walk through it, the silence heavy, and find a photo of us three, laughing at a Red Sox game. I don't tear it up. I put it in a drawer, a reminder of what I survived. The confrontation wasn't the victory, it was the reveal. The moment Laura and Marcus saw me, not as the fool they mocked, but as the man who outplayed them. I stayed calm, composed while their world burned. But the cost lingers. I'm free but alone, the ghosts of their laughter still haunting me. You did what you had to, Ed, I tell myself, staring at my community center's blueprints, its clean lines a promise of something new. The fight's not over. I need to close this chapter, face them one last time, and build a life that's mine. As the city wakes below, I know I'm ready not just to expose but to rise, stronger than they ever imagined. The Boston skyline glows golden in the early spring light, a quiet promise of renewal as I stand in my new apartment, a loft in Jamaica Plain with bare brick walls and space to breathe. It's been 2 months since the gala where I exposed Laura and Marcus, my wife and best friend, for their affair and fraud. The fallout was a storm, headlines, whispers, their lives unraveling, but I'm no longer caught in its chaos. I'm Edward, 36, a man who fell, broke, and rose again not through vengeance but through the stubborn choice to rebuild. Tonight, as I prepare to face them one last time, I'm not seeking their pain but my peace. I've learned my worth and I'm ready to let go, to build a life that's mine, with a message for anyone listening. Your scars don't define you, your strength does. The weeks after the gala were a whirlwind. The Boston Globe story went viral, painting Laura and Marcus as deceivers who betrayed a man who trusted them. Laura's freelance career collapsed. Clients dropped her, her portfolio tainted by the fraud scandal. Marcus faced worse. His real estate license was revoked, his agency hit with fines, and the IRS circled his shady deals. Our mutual friends, once their cheerleaders, rallied to me, their texts a mix of shock and support. "We had no idea, Ed. You deserve better." I didn't bask in their downfall. It felt hollow, like winning a game I never wanted to play. The apartment, now mine, was a ghost town of memories. Laura's sketches gone, Marcus's laughter silenced. I sold it, used the money to start fresh, and moved here where the light feels new. Closure demanded a final confrontation, not for revenge, but to sever the chains they'd wrapped around me. I arranged to meet them at a quiet diner near Fenway, a neutral space far from the gala's spotlight. Laura arrived first, her face gaunt, her hazel eyes dim. Marcus followed, his swagger replaced by a slouch, his suit wrinkled. I sat across from them, my coffee untouched, my voice steady. "I'm not here to fight," I said, my gaze moving between them. "I'm here to end this." Laura's lip trembled. "Ed, I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I never meant—" I raised a hand, cutting her off. "You meant it every time you lied, Laura. Every night you chose him." I turned to Marcus, his eyes dodging mine. "And you, my brother? You sold me out for what? A thrill? Money?" He mumbled, "It got out of hand, man," but I didn't let him finish. "I could have destroyed you," I said, my tone calm, almost kind. "But I didn't. I let the truth do that. You're not my problem anymore." I slid divorce papers across the table to Laura, already signed, and a letter to Marcus, cutting all ties. "Sign it," I told her, "and stay out of my life." Laura's tears fell, but she nodded, her pen shaking as she signed. Marcus just stared, defeated, and I walked out, the diner's bell jingling behind me. The air outside was crisp, Boston's hum a song of freedom. I didn't look back. They were my past and I was done carrying them. Rebuilding has been my true victory. I threw myself into work, and my community center project won a city award, its solar panels gleaming like my reclaimed pride. My boss promoted me to lead designer, saying, "You've got grit, Ed, don't lose it." I didn't. I kept sketching, my cityscapes now hanging in a local gallery, a small show that sold out. I started coaching at a community center, teaching kids from tough neighborhoods to build models, telling them, "You're more than your mistakes." Their wide eyes reminded me of the kid I was, fixing broken things, believing I could rise. I'm that man again, but stronger, forged in betrayal's fire. New connections have filled the void. Sarah, the journalist, became a friend, her sharp wit a balm to my wounds. We grab beers, talk about everything but the past, and her belief in me feels like a gift. My old friend Jenna, who turned from Laura at the gala, invited me to her book club, where I'm the only guy, laughing over bad wine and good stories. I'm not looking for love, not yet, but I'm open, my heart no longer locked. I've learned trust isn't a weakness, it's a choice, one I'll make wiser next time. The final piece of closure came unexpectedly. Sorting through my old apartment storage, I found a letter from my dad, written before he died. "Ed, you're a builder," it read. "Not just of things but of people. Don't let anyone tear that down." I sat on the floor, tears falling, and felt his pride, my anchor. I framed the letter, hung it in my loft, a reminder of who I am. Laura and Marcus tried to break me, but they only cracked the shell, revealing a man I didn't know I could be, resilient, deliberate, whole. Tonight, I'm hosting a small opening for the community center, its halls alive with kids, neighbors, and colleagues. I stand at the entrance, my sketches on the walls, and give a short speech. "This place is about second chances," I say, my voice clear. "I had to find mine, and I want you to know you can too. The crowd claps, Sarah winks from the back, and I feel a peace I thought I'd lost forever. Later, alone in my loft, Boston's lights a canvas of possibility, I reflect on the man I was, trusting, naive, shattered, and the man I am, a builder not just of structures but of a life that's mine. To anyone watching, caught in your own betrayal, hear this: you are not your pain. Laura and Marcus took my trust, my home, my heart, but they couldn't take my worth. I rebuilt, not to prove them wrong but to prove myself right. Every step, every tear, every plan, every sunrise, was a choice to rise. You can choose that too. Find your strength, your truth, and build something no one can break. I'm Edward, the man who fixed himself, and my story isn't over, it's just beginning. So is yours.